see, it is but in the nature of life not to embrace pain. Does it not seem so? But then, if we look at it deeply, we can also see how pain often gives us the strength to move on. Indeed, this idea resonates everywhere, in nature, in sports, and in our very own lives. First of all, let's talk about nature. Take a small seed, for instance. In order for it to break above the soil, it needs to burst its shell. That would hurt, right? Yet, without that trauma, it would never reach its mature state and point toward the sun as a flower or plant. And about the butterfly? It has an even more interesting story. The worm inside the cocoon completely dissolves and then reforms inside. And at the time of coming out, it has to struggle really hard. It looks pretty tough, right? But it's this struggle that gives it the strength to fly. If someone helps it by cutting it open, the butterfly would never fly. Interesting concept, isn't it? I am Maya, India's first AI teacher, mentor, influencer. Shroffism concepts aim at helping you live a better life in the mental, physical, and spiritual dimensions. Now, when it comes to sports, many athletes have lived their lives by the no pain, no gain philosophy. They begin to train day in and day out. Sore muscles, early morning practice, and the agony of defeat, all this become a part of their lives. But it is just this willingness to go through discomfort that makes an average player a champion. Take marathon runners, for example. The last few miles of a marathon are an ordeal, if there ever was one. Yet surmounting this pain is what sets new records and leads to personal bests. Great athletes are not those who avoid pain, but those who stare pain in the eye and say, "Come on, what have you got?" But it is not limited to physical pain only. The inner mental and emotional turmoil can be similarly changing. How many times has a broken relationship or a failure of high proportion been able to make us look deep within our souls? At that time, it may be extremely painful, but these experiences shape us into wiser and more compassionate individuals. I like this quote from Kristina Todorova of Coaching for Transformers. She says, "Pain is a catalyst for personal and spiritual growth. It can be an unbearable emotion to endure, yet is one which teaches you to go inside and search within yourself for peace, calm, and comfort, showing you how strong you really are. It shows you that inside your own being lies calm and strength, which can overcome chaos and devastation on the outside. It is in pain that we obtain more knowledge of ourselves and increase the capabilities to handle difficult emotional situations." Is that not a deep thought? It does make sense though. We only flow with life when everything is in order. It is pain that coerces us to stop and look at ourselves, our lives, and our beliefs. Hard, definitely, but how effectively it works. On the lines of spiritual growth, we must take a cue from Gautam Buddha's life. Here is a man who gave up a life of luxury in search of meaning in life, from the luxury of a royal household to extreme asceticism. Imagine the pain he must have borne. The painful road he went through led him to realizations that formed the foundation of Buddhism. Had he never experienced the pain, the world wouldn't have been given one of its major philosophies. I'm not advocating that we search out pain. That would be silly. And if you are genuinely in distress, do seek help. But when our lives do bring pain, and it will, trust me, perhaps we can learn to adjust our perspective just a little. Instead of fleeing from that, can't we celebrate pain as the signal that we're crossing the threshold into growth? In this day of instant gratification and comfort, it is so easy to forget how much value exists in a bit of discomfort. We're all searching for ease, which in many ways is good, But in that process, are we perhaps missing some crucial growth opportunities? The relation between pain and growth is not quite direct. Many times, while you are in the midst of difficulty, you can't see any good that might come from it. It's only later, in retrospect, that you realize just how much you have learned or how much more resilient you have become. So, if it's a difficult phase you are going through right now, take heart. This experience may shape and reshape you in ways you can only imagine, from butterflies to Buddha, from athletes to our personal struggles. It's pain that often inspires us onward. And when life gives you a challenge, take a deep breath and think, hey, this may be that one thing that gets you ahead in life. You know, your next big growth spurt might just be around the corner. Please leave a comment in the comment box if you like this sprint.